it's normally stories that come with that. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry, sometimes you just remember some good shit. Welcome to the Bottom of the Bottom podcast.
Going on, good people? Y'all know what time it is, man. Look, we've been on a little hiatus, but we back at it again, man. It's your boy Jay Walking the Third. That's my co-host Carolina Dirt 803. What's good with you, player?
Man, you know what, man? It feel good. I ain't heard that intro in 2 weeks.
Damn, I'm tearing up shit already.
Yeah, I don't know the hell going on. But it's what we call Saturday. What's our tagline for Saturday?
Is it Saturday night shenanigans?
Saturday night shenanigans. We got a dope panel tonight. All these brothers do something within the community as far as coaching, nonprofits, and all that. And we're gonna have a little barbershop open conversation talk tonight.
Absolutely, man. I want to start this off by thanking the people that have been rocking with us as far as they have. You know what I'm saying? This is not as easy as they might think it, not as easy as people might make it look, man. So we appreciate y'all jumping in with us. It's all kind of other shit that you could be doing. Go ahead and like this shit, though, right now. Subscribe to this shit, though. Like right now, we're going to be popping up on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts here in a minute. So just wanted to take the time to say that. Without further ado, we're going to start bringing in the panel this evening. First up, longtime childhood friend of ours, Young Joe, a.k.a. Jay Smith. What's going on with you, player?
Hey, boy, let me tell you, running up these stairs, getting ready for y'all.
Hey, well, you know.
Hey, man, I had to kick the dog down the stairs. Like, watch out, man. I got things to do.
It's funny how they can be right up under your feet.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I'm glad to see y'all, man. Y'all looking good, boy.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm looking extra black, though. I got to get some lighting. I got to invest in some lighting. I know I look extra black.
Well, next up, we're going to bring on Coach Shun. Coach Shun deals with the youth and the basketball organization here in South Carolina. Welcome to the podcast, man. It's the Bottom of the Bottom. How you doing?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
You sound like PT. You sound like Pastor Troy. How y'all doing?
Hey, I'm just coming back in from Tennessee. Went up to East Tennessee State. Took my son and a couple of his teammates up there to an elite camp. We just coming back in.
Hey, I want to applaud you too, because I always see what you post, and I be sharing what you post. You the sports thing and the kids, you definitely be into it, bro.
Yes, sir, for sure,
Hey,
for sure.
Look, glad to have you here, man. Last but not least, we're gonna bring on returning guest, young C. Hess, to the podcast, our resident professional on law and order and things of the type, and then just open-minded discussions. So welcome, C. Hess. How you doing this evening?
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you see what it is, ain't nothing, man. I've been waiting on this for a while.
Let me ask y'all this real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jay. Hey, Coach got that good mic, ain't it? His shit sound extra clear compared to everybody else.
Yo, so the thing that you three have in common that I think is so dope, like when we talk about black men in our society, in the world we live in, it's few and far between the good stories. So for us to have connections to three people in three separate places doing something for the community, people that look like us, man, that's a big thing. So I'm gonna start with you, Coach. Tell us about your organization. Tell us what you're doing, how we get more involved.
And we have multiple organizations. I mean, I work with the City of Columbia Parks and Recreation Department and have branched off. I've been with the city now for a total of 21 years. I did seven back in 96, started back in 96, left, went to went to DSS for a while, worked in child support enforcement, left child support enforcement, and ended up going doing the prison time. when I was working with at DJJ and worked with the youth offenders, was clinical counselor down at with the Department of Corrections, with the YOA program, and came back to Parks and Recreation because basically I saw where a lot of the kids that was behind the fence, basically just made some bad decisions, and my goal was to try to catch them for the past 14 years before they get behind the fence. We've been able to derail some of it we have not. I know we were talking a little earlier. A lot of the kids that was involved in a lot of the local shootings here in Columbia, we've had our hands on them one way or the other through football, which is the organization that we started several years ago, Moving You Forward. And as a result of that, we've kind of branched off. Rob McCray and myself, we actually started that, about, I guess, 15 years ago. And as a result, we branched off. We've done SC Heat. We branched off. He started SC Heat on and off the court. We've done now. We currently have on the basketball side Team Unleashed South Carolina. Whereas a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do, unleash the talent, the basketball talent in South Carolina. That's the goal right now with that. We have both the boys and girls side, and we're just trying to branch off and trying to make a difference in the lives of the youth.
That's what's up, man. That's certainly a commendable thing, man. Like you said, at this point, we got to get to them before they take that fateful step, man. So, C. Hess, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your organization and the background for that.
All right, bro. So I'm a little bit similar. So what you oftentimes y'all see me wearing a shirt with Motivated Minds. What Motivated Minds is it's just something that I came up with because I was already out in the community, back in my neighborhood, working with a lot of the kids in my neighborhood that, I grew up with their parents, they aunties, they uncles. So what we pretty much do is we go out, we support the kids, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, we go to the games. We've done backpack giveaways, school supplies. My dad's a pastor, so oftentimes when he's doing things, within the community, food giveaways or whatever, what we do is we go out there and support. The other thing that I got a couple partners, we work within the system, in the criminal justice system. So we work with a lot of at-risk youth, so we go in, man, we pull them, we talk to them, trying to make them think about what their situation is. So we just stay real active as much as we can within the community and within the school system. So what we were doing is I started off like with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I did that for maybe 3 years once I moved back home. And what happened was COVID hit, so we had to pull back. So what I'm thinking about, what we're trying to do when this school year starts, is go around and find another way to get into the schools besides Big Brothers Big Sisters, to pull a lot of those at-risk youth, and I'm talking 10, 11, 12, and 13. Try to catch them in that age, and pull them to the side and give them one-on-one, talk to them one-on-one, whatever is on their mind. So we stay busy, man. We try to stay active as much as we can within the community. And it starts, for me personally, it started within my own neighborhood where I grew up.
That's where we got to start, man. That's where the most damage can be done. You know what I'm saying? Jay, let it rip, man.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? What you doing out here in these streets?
Yeah. So my name's Jay Smith. We got an organization in Augusta, CSRA area called Spark Initiative, Inc. Spark stands for Supporting Parents and Affirming Resilience in the Kids. So right now we target young men from 6th to 12th grade. Try to give them some life skills, simple stuff, man. Kids don't know how to cook. Kids don't know how to survive. They think they got to go to McDonald's every day. That same money you spending at McDonald's, you can buy a little bit of groceries in the store on your own, you're in middle school, so you can survive and get more than one meal out of it. Teaching them how to get ready for college, resume writing for those who don't want to go to college, getting them linked in with the local law enforcement and military in case they want to go that route. You know, getting them prepared for the HAZBAB and whatever else they need to go. You know, some of the kids, unfortunately, where they stay, they just don't have a lot of resources. Something so simple as far as fresh fruit. You got food deserts in Augusta right now that we're trying to get knocked out, and showing kids how to do simple stuff like gardening, what plants to eat, vegetables. Kids don't know no vegetables besides French fries, so we got to try to change that narrative a little bit. But just making them get into them books a little bit more, and it's okay if they still want to do hip hop or whatever for the community. But if you want to get back to the community, you do something as simple as going to tech school, becoming a barber, you know, something like that. So just getting them kids off them streets, man. That's the main objective for us down here.
I want to say you touched on something real important. That's the resume. I think everybody has a resume, regardless if you go to school or not. If you a street dude, you got a resume.
Right.
And I think resume writing is very important. I know I done had tough times trying to construct a resume. Like I've been copy pasted, try to look at somebody else's shit and reword it. I do think that's one thing that kids need to start off at a young age, understanding the keywords, the how to shorten the resume, when to lengthen the resume, when to go in detail, because you know kids can get a job now at 14, 15.
Right.
But getting a job is also at 14, 15. Like, you know, you get your mom or dad's consent, you get your guardian's consent. But as far as just writing a resume after they get their job, if they 18, like what part of that when they're 14 do they put on the resume? So I think that's real important what you said about the resume thing.
Yeah, I think they got to start now, man, because it's all a game. So when you apply online, they looking for keywords. Their resume is gonna get you to the door just to get heard over the phone.
Yeah,
that's no longer just give me the resume and you can start working. That's to get you in the door. You know, so when you get to the door, the person that has that resume, you got to keep in mind that person just skimming through it and they looking for keywords. And they don't got time. They got a stack on their desk. They just gonna glance by what's important. If they don't see anything that's important to them, if you don't even put a basic description of what you're applying for, you already lost. So we gotta get the kids to understand what comprehension is. You can't just put something down because you want to do it. And then the second part is they got to get away from that cell phone talk on the resume. You can't say what you say on the cell phone on a freaking resume. You ain't gonna get nowhere like that. Man, come on, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
The English language is devolving.
Right.
It's dissolving right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me ask y'all this, just because he said that. So I saw on TikTok this older gentleman. He was on TikTok. He had his daughter had her male friend come visit for the first time, and Jay and Coach, I know y'all got female daughters. He said the first time he met the dude.
Hey man, I hope they females, bro.
Hey, nowadays you never know.
Hey,
double up.
Yeah, but the guy, the first time meeting the dad, he said, "What up, bro?"
Yeah.
What is y'all take on a male person meeting your daughter? His first, like, he didn't say how old his daughter was. He just said his daughter.
Hey,
you gotta go.
Let me jump in.
That's what he did. That's what he did.
Hey, let me jump in first. Hey,
that's what he did now.
Hey, I don't have daughters, right? So let me speak from the perspective of a man with sons. So my thing is, I have two grown sons. So what I've always tried to teach them was how to talk to and how to treat women, right? So how I did that was I always tried to show them how I treated their mothers. You see what I'm saying? So I always tell them, hey, you know, if you meet somebody and you're serious about it, you always go and you meet their father first. You always be respectable. So, you know, and my kids, as they say, even though there's no such thing as talking proper, they speak, they can enunciate their words. You know what I'm saying? They can articulate. So it starts at home. And I personally believe that it starts with us as men teaching our sons, right, how to speak to other men, right? And that's looking a man straight in his eyes, shaking his hand with a firm, with firm grip and all of that. So I'm a man who don't have daughters. So that's what I have to do and what I did to teach my sons.
Right. What you got to
man,
say
that's a big deal. Because, just to piggyback on that, that was one of the things that I told, as we was walking up, and of course I have, I have four daughters and three sons. And I guess my thing is from a standpoint of today, as we was walking up to the gym, you know, I was telling the boys, I was like, you know, man, look here, make sure that, you know, you shake the coach's hands, give a firm handshake, look them in their eyes, you know, and this is stuff that I've already, you know, I constantly teach my boys, you know, hold the door for women, you know, these type things and whatnot. But, you know, in dealing with so many kids, you know, it's I mean, you know, because like I said, I deal with both the boys and the girls, you know, and I mean, you have, I was pleased with back here, my 14-year-old daughter, which I was, you know, I mean, she's one that is going to be a challenge for me. Her and my 23-year-old, they have very similar personalities, you know, and they live life on the edge. They're gonna push it to the edge. But she had a young man, one of the young men that I coached a few years back, you know, which I was very impressed with him. I was actually blown away. Kid called me. This was probably about a year or so ago, because I think Bree had, it might not have been a year. It may have been about, you know, about 8 or 9 months. I think she might have turned 14 already, because she turned 14 in September. But called me and asked to date her. You know, and I said, man, look, I got to think about it, you know, because he kind of caught me off guard with it. I'm like, you know, shit, man, look here. I ain't ready for it. I ain't ready for it. You know, I mean, but then I started thinking, you know, from a standpoint of, because I have so many of my girls that's athletes, you know, the females that you know carry themselves like, you know, guys, you know, and liking girls or whatnot. And that's been the persona, you know, for I guess what they've adapted. You know, whereas, you know, some of the girls that, you know, I've had for years, since 2nd, 3rd grade, and they're now, you know, high school, going into their senior year. Some of them have graduated, you know, and they have, you know, they dating girls. And I'm like, you know, okay. I talked to one of my other coaches who also have a 14-year-old daughter. And I'm like, man, look here, you know, I'm in my mind, you know, because again, my oldest daughter, she tricked me. She tricked me, because I mean, she made it too easy. I mean, everything was perfect. Everything was ran, you know, too smooth. You know, and she's, you know, she's actually she went on to Virginia State, graduated from Virginia State, graduated from Howard, was Miss Virginia State, Miss District of Columbia. You know, just, you know, I mean, perfect, man. I mean, she modeling, going around the country modeling, and, you know, all of that stuff or whatnot. You know, and then my second daughter comes along. You know, we had some rough spots or whatnot, but, you know, it was nothing, you know, nothing major. My son, who's about to turn 20 now, you know, same thing, you know, and you know, he you know, bright kid, you know, just he's kind of a rebel as well, but, you know, again, you kind of just, you know, hey, just let him go, let him do his thing or whatnot, you know, and he find himself and come back and, you know, do, you know, he gonna do just enough to stay on that edge. And then I got
different now, man.
Yeah, definitely. And then
it's different now. The way they communicate is different.
Right. You know, and then my other one,
that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker.
Right. You know, I mean, it's just different. It's just a whole lot. You know, I mean, I think that, and this COVID thing didn't help it at all. It didn't help it at all, because I mean, it's like I'm seeing kids just really living life on the edge. It's like, you know, dude, what the hell? You know, like, you know,
right.
Come on, man. You know, what are you thinking? You know, and we try to. I'll say, okay, maybe, you know, because, you know, me and one of my colleagues, we were talking. Kelly Simmons, you know, who goes around and mentor. He works at South Carolina Youth Challenge Academy, Empowered to Win, runs Empowered to Win. You know, he does different summits and whatnot. and we were sitting down, we were talking, and I was telling them, some of the things some of the challenges that I've been going through with with my adult with LJ, and I'm like, all of them had scholarships, all of them had, Deshonda, she didn't want to play sports, she was, basically she stopped in middle school, she stopped playing as a eighth grader. In eighth grade, she didn't play anymore. But she went on and got academic scholarship, and the rest is history. She's a social worker now in DC, and then with Keyshawn, she played at Newberry, and LJ, he gets his scholarship at Miles and decides he don't want to play, or at least in my mind, he don't want to play because he doesn't want to do the things that's required.
That's required.
I guess the things from being at Carter Newman and being quote unquote the man, and now having to adjust and go to Miles, which now you're talking about a whole nother world. You're going to HBCU, you're coming from a private school to a HBCU, and
it's about to get crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now you're talking about kids from all over different areas and whatnot, and you having to adjust. You having to jump in.
Hold tight, coach. Hold tight, coach, because we gotta get a couple of different opinions in here. When you say it's a deal breaker, Jay, what's the deal breaker for you?
Hey, so I keep it simple for him. I said, look at your brother. every time you see him get slapped down the stairs, just make sure your homeboy coming to the door ain't gonna get slapped too.
Right.
Just make sure they're respectful. This be respectful. We already know the game. We as parents, we men, we knew. You're gonna make that dog and pony show when you come to the door. Hey, sir, how you doing? They gonna smell good. Clothes gonna be above their waist for the first time when they come by. I know it's about to go down when you hit down the street and hit the corner. You're gonna get back to yourself, right? But just make that first impression, right? And then let me know where you're gonna be at on your first date. I might roll up, I might not, but it's just a game of integrity at that point. I just want to see if you're gonna man up and let me know. I know what happens when you're alone, so I get it. Just show me a little respect and integrity, and then we'll be all right.
It's that thing that you hear growing up all the time from your parents. Every time you try to do some slick shit, they be like, "Bro, you think you the first one to try this shit?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Give a motherfucker credit. They want to call everybody an OG, but they don't want to listen to us.
They don't wanna
It's
listen.
crazy.
Exactly.
Hey, bro, can I bring up something though? Because Coach said this about, and I kind of mentioned this too about looking a man in the eyes, right? So, bro, I can't tell y'all the amount of, I'll say like teenagers to, young men up to age, let's say 23, 24, 25, that when you're talking to them, they kind of looking down. And the one thing I always tell them to do is, hey man, hold your head up when you're talking to me. Look me in my eyes. Look me in the face when you're talking to me. And I'm like, and what I often go off to explain to them is this. My granddaddy and my great granddaddy, when he walking down the street and he come across one of them folk, they had to hold their head down. Right. So I'm always telling them, no, man, hold your head up and look me in the face when you're talking to me. Always look a man right in the face when you talk to him. But there's a lot of these kids out there that don't know. They tough in the streets, but then when they talking to a real man, they want to hold their head down. Like, no, bro, look me in the eye. Look a man in the face.
When they in the courtroom in front of that judge, cuz I don't know how many of y'all, Coach touched on a little bit, but if you ever been at the mercy of a whole bunch of people that don't know you or don't give a fuck about you, the gavel is way louder than a gunshot, my nigga, depending on what he about to say.
The gavel, hey, and you're right about it. And another thing is Coach, Jaywalk, everybody but C Hess know. My mom is a different animal, and she got it from an animal that 100-degree weather. Our grandfather was in a suit and tie on the front porch. 100-degree weather.
Down to the t-shirt,
down to the t-shirt,
t-shirt, undershirt, button up.
Yeah,
hard bottoms.
I ain't the best dressed, or I don't do everything right, but there's certain ways I conduct myself. Even growing up when I was in sports, I might I wrestle. This is an example. I wrestle. So when you shake an opponent's hand, I gave him a lackluster shake. I gave him a lackluster shake because he's young just like me. He's thinking that shake is going to determine his match. But when I look at his coach or handshake his coach, I give him a firm grip. I give everybody a firm grip now. If I'm not in competition, I give everybody a firm grip.
Hey, that's why I'm in the gym now on my wrist, because you be trying to squeeze my bones. Huh?
No, man. No. I'm
real.
just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying how you present yourself, other than how you dress, how you present yourself, like how you carry yourself, plays a major role.
Right.
Like I said,
but the kids.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but the kids, some of the things that's driving the kids from looking down when they talk to an adult or a person that's truly themselves or comfortable with themselves, is that them kids now, you got parents out there that are reconditioning the kids to punking them. They chumping the kids out, right? So when the kids get around their friends, they acting out. But when they get around somebody they know got some respect about themselves, then they don't know how to address it. So they put their head down because they shamed at that moment.
Right.
And so you gotta do like C said, you gotta reinforce them kids and make them, hey, look me in my eyes, man, so we can get to a good place together. Because right now when they go home, you don't know what type of environment they dealing in. So when they go home at night, they might not have nobody taking care of them, might not have nobody telling them they love them, might not telling nobody nothing. But as soon as they do something that's deemed negative, they jumped all over. You know what I mean?
Man,
Yeah.
that's been the story that's been the story of most of the kids that, you know, like I said, my pool is inner city. For the most part, it's inner city. You know, we try to bring kids in from, you know, all walks of life, and, you know, kind of use the peer models, you know, in a sense or whatnot, you know, so that some of the kids can model. You know, I try to, you know, like my kids, they like I said, they're you know, at Carlton Newman, but then they come right back to the hood every day. You know, so you know, to try to bring that balance for them as well. But you know, I've had kids where, you know, I dropped the kid off. Well, two kids. I dropped two brothers off back here. You know, this was, you know, several years back. And I'm sitting on the side of the road and watching them walk into the house. And as they walk into the house, as they open the door, their mom is laying in front of the door, and they step over their mom to get in the house. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know, I'm contemplating. Damn, should I get out the truck? I'm in shock. You know, should I get out? Should I go? But this is their norm. This is what they're going to as their norm. This is, you know, as I sat there and I processed this, this is what's normal for them. This was their norm. This was not something, you know, for me. If I open the door and I see my mom laying in the door, I'm dropping the seat immediately. Hey, Ma, are you all right? What's going on? You know, I mean, but this was these kids' norm. You know, she was drunk, and I'm going to the park, which is about 2 blocks away. I get to the park and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, damn, should I call and report this? And, you know, and I'm going through my mind, you know, going through my mind. I go back by there later on that afternoon or whatnot, just to check, and, you know, she's okay or whatnot. She's, you know, she had gotten up or whatever. I guess when they came in, you know, she got up, I'm assuming. But I'm sitting there and I'm baffled. I'm like, you know, how do I address this? Do I call DSS? I call DSS. I go and report this. You know, she 9 times out of 10, she's not gonna get the kids back. You know, she's not gonna be able to get the kids back from a standpoint of, you know, doing the things that she needs to do to get them. And now they're looking at me like, you know, hell, I separated them from their mom. You know, I mean, that was some of the things.
And then when you go through a separation, like, I don't know how many of y'all partake in the show Atlanta, Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. The first episode was loosely based. It's a true story. Young at-risk kid acting up in school. Somebody calls child services. Child services goes to the house. The mom's is doing the best she can. It's a clean house. They eat. They may not have a whole bunch of shit, but they eat every day. You got clothes every day. They like, we gonna take them. And she like, what the fuck you want me to do? He goes to live with a family, 2 white women. they've adopted or they're fostering all black kids, not knowing anything about hair, not knowing anything about hygiene, not knowing anything about nutrition, feeding them half raw chicken and shit like that. And then towards the end, they got some money issues, and this lady really kills all of them in like a murder-suicide. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a deep, dark turn to what you're talking about, but that's the realistic thing that you guys get to put your arms around, and you can't save everybody, but the fact that you put yourself out there to do that is what make y'all stand above the rest, man.
Hey, bro,
that's a hard life.
Hey, bro, check this out. And, you know, like what coach is talking about, man, I'm telling you, that is part of what he's saying, man. Because some of us did grow up like that. But for me, that was part of my motivation, right? That's what pushed and that's what drove me. So it's like, for me, when I'm talking to like some of these kids or some of these jits is locked up, that's one thing I often share with them. You know, that, man, that should be your motivation. You know, when you go back home, man, and coach said it, that some of these kids might not be eating. Some of these kids are in dire situation or whatever. But to me, that is what I tell them. That should be your motivation to make it out. That, or do you want to continue that cycle? You know what I'm saying? So, so for me, and I always tell them, sometimes I'll tell them about me, you know, a lot of us grew up in areas that jokers, you know, they were slanging them things back in the day, just to eat, you know what I'm saying? Just to support, you know, whether you had a brother that was 15, 16, 17 years old, he in the street slanging them things. So mom and them got food to eat, you know? So, and I tell them, man, this should be y'all motivation to get yourself out of this situation, you know, and to get your mama or your whoever out this situation. And that's why, man, you know, for me, it's so important. It's okay to do like to do in other people's neighborhoods and communities. But that's why when I moved back, you know, when I moved back home, in my mind, the first thing I said is I'm going to go back to where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And give back to my community, because we got to give back. And it's important for people who just like, I use like all y'all from South Carolina, right? So I use, let's say Columbia, right? You know, down in Columbia, they got, I can't think of, Decorate 2-notch, right?
2-notch.
2-notch. Everybody know about 2-notch. Yeah. So it's important for somebody who grew up in one of them areas, even though they might be successful, they move away. Every now and then, you got to go back. You know what I'm saying? To show these kids, well, hey man, if I can make it, you can make it too.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Hess, because of your background, the line of discipline compared to somebody else who doesn't have your background. If somebody's really trying, family member, the community, you know, if they trying to discipline somebody, but somebody your background then sees that as something else.
Okay.
Like they had a lady some years ago in New Orleans. Her 3 sons broke into somebody's house. So she beat them and they took her kids.
Okay. So
how do you
I know you're going, I got you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I know exactly. Okay, so look, this is sometimes what you gotta look at. You gotta look at the states and the laws, right? Now there are some cases where when them folks show up, right, and you telling them, hey man, he was over here doing X, Y, and Z, right? And I split his wig. Yeah. Most times, Joker's gonna be like, you know what? Go on over there and finish polishing him off. You see what I'm saying? But where the lines get blurred is a lot of times some parents go, I don't want to say overboard, because we all grew up in the same, I think we all grew up kind of in the same era. Well, mama and grandmama would go out there and get that switch, right? And put that switch or that belt across your back. Yes, you're leaving all kinds of marks on them, right? Yes, so sir. That's what you got to be careful at today, is that sometimes when they come out and they got marks on them, you know what I'm saying? They're going to consider that abuse. So that's where they kind of, you kind of got to be careful, because the law does not say that you cannot, and I'm going to be politically correct. The law does not say that you can't discipline your child, right?
Yeah, law, you can't leave evidence.
The law don't say you can't. The law don't say you can't tap them now. You see what I'm saying? And bro, I've been in situations to where you had son that was 14 or 15, and then daddy and mama over there, and son raised up, and daddy put them things on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then we show up and like, he did what? All right, there ain't nothing to see here. We about to get on. We about to get the hell on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. So it's tricky. It's a slippery slope. You see what I'm saying? Because we've
Depends
shown
on
up.
who responds to the call 9 times out of 10.
Right. Because sometimes, man, some people have to understand, especially those jokers that, they wear their badge. Parents are disciplining their kids. And there is a difference between discipline and abuse. You see what I'm saying? And I've even seen where parents get, they bring a parent in for doing that. And when they get to court and the judge hear it, judge throw it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a slippery slope, bro. It's a slippery slope. So what they kind of get into sometimes is, if you're leaving marks, you don't dot the joker eye. That's why I say, hey, body shots, and you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I ain't gonna laugh, but even Jay, like Jay, we go Jay Smith, not Jay Walker. We go way back. Even Jay Walker, Coach. The family history.
Oh yeah.
Is it? Do y'all believe we need to take it back? Like Trick Daddy always say, Trick say he loved the kids, and I've been listening to a lot of Trick Daddy, and a lot of his ways how we was raised, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. Do y'all agree with that?
Yep.
Most definitely. I mean, because
I think that's what's wrong with us now.
That what Trick said.
Man, look at I was that kid that raised up at 14, 15 years old. And hey.
Your daddy was big though. Your daddy big.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times and I found myself pinned up on my neck.
It's something to say about old man strength.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's something that God give. I think God give parents that extra little piece of, just to get you right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we come from the spare the rod spoiled child, and you got people that are just staunchly adverse to that shit. They just like, I'm not beating my kids. I'm not beating my kids. I'm not beating my kids. And if you can control your kids, that is fine. But what you think these police is going to do with your kid that you ain't going to beat?
Right.
They're going to beat the shit out of them if they lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
That shit is crazy to me.
But you know what, man? I'll say this too, bro. Like, that's when you got to know the kid. Like, my sons, I ain't never had to put a finger on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My daddy, all he had to do was say something, and that was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know the kid. And this is another thing. This is why, and I'm gonna hop on this for a minute. This is why the police, right? This is why the police have to get into the community, because that's when they know, well, you got this mother over here, and she's got these teenage boys and girls, and they out of control. You see what I'm saying? So when they get that call and they got to go to their house, and mama don't put her hands on them, they already know, well, you know what? That's Miss so-and-so and so-and-so, and that's them kids over there. So she had to do that. But the problem is, not all, but you got a lot of police officers they don't take the time to know the communities in which they patrol.
That's a big part of the problem. That'll solve a lot.
I promise you, I got a fifth grader that basically mama called me. Well, first backing up, I had to put the kid out of the park back here probably about a month or so ago. Kid, I wasn't there, and the kid was, my one of my workers, one of my colleagues. He was walking around, female. He walking around trying to hug her, and as he hugging her, he trying to get his rocks off. He hunching and grabbing her. I mean, and they called me. And I was like, man, how y'all letting them do this? It was her and another worker. I'm like, yeah, man, put that boy out. And of course, they put him out. He came back the next day. I was off that day as well, but I was right up the street, luckily. And I went back and I'm like, look at, man, leave. He act like, he walked around, walked all the way down to the end of the park or whatnot. So I said, okay, all right. I got a trick for you. So I called the officer, took them about an hour to come, but anyway, they showed up. And when they showed up, basically they took him home. Mom calls me the next day, and basically I had to explain to her, what was going on. Fast forward about maybe a week, 2 weeks later, and this kid is supposed to be on medication and whatnot. And I also work with him at the school as well. But the kid supposedly ran away, in which I saw him down in 5 Points or whatnot. When I was going home that night, it was probably about maybe 8:30 or so, 8:30, 8:45. It was before 9, but I saw him walking down in 5 Points, and I was like, what is he doing down in 5 Points at this, this time of night or whatnot? Elementary kids, we put out, they have to go home by 8 o'clock. So anyway, he's walking down in 5 Points, and something told me to stop, but I didn't stop. I let him do his thing or whatnot, and come back the next day, and my coworker told me that his mom called and said he ran away. I'm like, what? But he was back home. He went back home that night or whatnot. But she called and said that he ran away. And I guess my thing is, from a standpoint of here it is, a 10, 11-year-old that you're allowing to basically do what he want to do. He leaves home when he want to leave home. You don't know where he's going, no accountability whatsoever. I mean, it's like, it's crazy, from a standpoint of how, some of these kids operate. I mean, and the thing is, I guess going back to what I was saying earlier, from a standpoint of, we teach these kids, we try to teach and train these kids or whatnot, but we got to go deeper than that and teach and train the parents as well, because the parents don't have a clue in terms of what and how to handle, certain situations or whatnot. And the thing is, we've tried, several things to get the parents in there to, do parenting classes, and things of that nature, whatnot. They'll come for maybe a few sessions or whatnot, but very few to none will complete the entire sessions. We've given away gift cards for them to come to sessions. We've given, we fed them and different things of that nature. But I think it starts with being able to teach the parents how to parent, because I mean it's out there where they don't know how to parent.
Jay, would you think as an advisor, counselor, or whatever? What's three things the school system can help with?
Well, school system, unfortunately, at a disadvantage, man. They don't have the funding. Teachers underpaid, just like law enforcement underpaid, right? In my opinion. So you asking these people to go ahead and tackle a whole community. You got teachers at some ratios 20-1, 23-1. They're dealing with the kids that.
Real quick though, law enforcement wouldn't be underpaid if they sold the tank. If you just sell one of the tanks, you can pay these people, cuz.
Or whoever the dope boys in the city that making all this money, where that money go? But
I'm done.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Jay Smith. My bad.
Now, so I mean, we're inside the schools for the most part, and I normally get people that are ex-military or people that's been in law enforcement. So people that got a little bit of structure to themselves, so the kids can see that we all move in the same dynamic, same way,
and they won't break.
They won't break. That's exactly right. So when the kids get in there and they walk off, right? My mindset is I ain't about to touch a kid. I won't touch the kids unless they're my own. But I'll smoke them. I'll make them do some. We'll do some physical fitness for a little bit, and I'll do it with you at first, and then we're gonna find out how long you're gonna keep talking. But
go ahead.
But I mean, you just gotta do random stuff, man. You gotta randomly pop in on the kids. So most kids, if you give them a task where they the leader, then they'll excel. Like if they feel like they in charge or something, then they'll excel, man. But sitting in the classroom and the teacher's trying to get done, and teacher patience running thin because she got to deal with not only that 23, but the next 23 coming in. It becomes taxing at some time, man. So it's okay to come in as an additional resource.
Just because you said that, you see, they talking about the suggestion. The suggestion was to give teachers guns.
No, that's a bad mistake.
I shoot. Hey, I mean, I'm not. I used to be opposed to that, but I know here. Let me see. Here in Florida, they put a school resource officer in every school.
Yeah,
right.
We got one.
Now, I'm not opposed to that because I know, once I retired, well, let me back up. Let me say this real quick. Once I retired out of the Army, I went and I was a police officer in Temple, Texas. I left that job and I went to the school system. So in that school system, I was always the last one in the hallways. I made sure all the kids was out of the hallways, right? And that was for their safety. So I'm not necessarily opposed to a teacher or responsible teacher, having a firearm for the safety of the kids. However, it goes back to what we were talking about, that psychological thing, right? Because you don't know. Because you don't know what
have meltdowns, man.
Yeah, man.
Badass kids, man.
Yeah, little Ray having a bad day, But so, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about that. But I think that part of the solution is, I know here in my agency, my county, we have a resource officer at every single school. And I know they had one there in like Uvalde, and he wasn't there. But I think that'll alleviate, putting guns in the hands of teachers. Now, I'm gonna tell you, if I'm a teacher in one of them schools, well, you can believe in me, because you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna snap on a joker. And honestly, you guys, a lot of people out there that will protect the kids, but the issue is you got some teachers that got some mental issues.
Right, but what about what? Yeah, but I mean, I understand the resource officer, and we got a few of those in the school. But I mean, what are your National Guard doing? I mean, you got National Guard chilling. You know what I mean? Put like 2 or 3 to every school, man. Put them boys with them semi-automatics too.
But won't that be prison though? What's the difference between putting people with guns in schools and the prison? You still on the schedule. The kids on the schedule just like prison. They locked in the class. They locked in the cell. Like, technically, what's the difference between the prison? If they start putting guns and locking doors in the schools, what's the difference between that and prison?
Well, I'm not saying being in the class though.
Yeah,
you ain't gotta be in the class.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, put them on the perimeter, man. Just make them walk the perimeter, bro. I ain't talking about in the class. Let the mayhem continue in the building, because that's what kids gonna be kids.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I mean?
have no power over what's in the building until an incident happens. I mean, we can sit here, and the sad part is we would probably put together more thought than the people in charge. The people that can make these decisions, we gonna put more thought into a solution than they will.
What people? We're
talking about politicians.
I know you ain't talking about politicians, because them same politicians feel the same way you do.
You think so?
But all of them enter the place broke but come out rich for a reason.
Oh, I was about to say, I see.
That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic right now.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so before we get out of here, man, the hour is going by. We've been kind of on the same thing, man. Like I said, I can't say how much I appreciate y'all and what y'all do, and we definitely want to let y'all speak to y'all organizations again, and let people know where they can help. But just on some off shit, this 23-year-old kid from Georgia that decided to throw his life away for Young Thug, what y'all think about that?
Man, listen, bro. Listen, man. A lot of people got to understand what they're doing with this RICO and all of this stuff. And I know y'all out there, man, and y'all coaching and all of this stuff. Listen, you got to know they dumb. You see what I'm saying? Because Young Thug got the money. You see what I'm saying? Now, he ain't going to beat these charges, right? But he's got the money, and these kids got to understand. They got to be careful what they're doing, because when they get out there and they claim to be gangs, right? I know here over in Duval, they got a whole gang task force, right? So the minute them kids, and I challenge y'all to go in and look at your state laws and what governs and what they use to classify kids as gangs. And that's what they did with Young Thug and them. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand what they're using to classify these kids as gang. And they're catching up our kids. They're catching them up.
They try to use the RICO.
They go use the RICO.
Yeah, they go use the RICO.
So real quick, because I ask this every time that comes up. How is it the RICO has locked up Italian mobs, and Irish mobs, and black folks and Cubans, and never the KKK?
Because this is America.
Tell me there's a difference. It's got to be a fundamental difference, right?
It's not. It's not. But you got to remember, you living in America, sir. So they not go. Come on, bro. We all know the answer to why. We know they won't even mark them as a terrorist organization. They won't even mark them as a terrorist organization. So you already know what it is.
because it's about money. They gonna say the KKK as a unit isn't making money. You got to think the Chinese, the Yakuza, and all Japanese Yakuza. Everybody come together and make money. That's where it comes from. About the money you making.
Bro,
so they gonna try to say the KKK.
What? What do you? Hey man, they make money. They just shell it.
I'm about to say
they just shell it. They shell it. They shell it under a political organization.
Right.
They do all their fundraising. They put it under church nonprofit organization.
Who you think cooking all the methamphetamine?
Yeah, black people don't
got a point. but you know what, bro? Real talk. Because y'all own something, right? So and that's the other thing. Why they won't do anything about it? You want to know why? Because your average KKK member may not be what they call a KKK member, right? But you know where they all at now? They wearing uniforms with a badge and a gun, right? They wearing suits. They're in the courtroom. They wearing robes, bro. They your judges. That's why they're the average politician. That's why they're not going to do anything about it. And then you got some of these organizations that we talking about, like the KKK and others, right? They're funding some of these politicians that's running for office. That's why they're not going to do anything about them.
That's right. That's like when everybody was sleeping. Trump came in the game originally as a Democrat. He didn't make no money like that. Then he switched sides, and then he started doing all this radical thinking. If they're gonna throw the RICO case at anybody, they throw it at all these owners of these privatized prisons. That's the RICO. That's the whole RICO right there.
Or the NRA. If everybody mad about the AR-15,
see, now you about to get us canceled.
Hey man, I'm sorry.
You are fucked up now. Them the people.
What he's saying is true though. Well, bro, what he's saying is true, right? It's true, and that's, man. I know this is a whole nother topic, but part of the reason why we can't get anything done as black folks is because we don't have any lobbyists, right? We're not putting any money, right, into the pockets of these politicians, or we don't have any lobbyists that's raising any money, right? That's why, check this out. That's why you think the politicians, when they're running, why you think they go to the churches? Why you think they go to the black churches? Because guess what? That's a money making. All you got to do is go shake a few hands, hug a few necks, kiss a few babies, grease the pastor palm, and he gonna get you the vote. Because guess what? Church raise money. That's why they do that.
That's get you the vote.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, y'all believe, like, if we have somebody, let's say somebody on the street, good education, they decide to go into politics. The fact that politics changed them more than the community changed them is the problem.
That's normally what happens. A lot of them going there with good intentions.
Hey man, look at the homie that was mayor of Detroit.
Right.
Kwame Kilpatrick.
Yeah. He went in there. He was the golden child. Everybody was like, man, we got this dude back. Then he started getting that sideline money, man. He started getting the union money, start tampering. See, people ain't getting in trouble for all the other stuff until you start messing with the natural resource like the water. When you start doing that contracting for the water and contaminating the game, that's when they came after him. They ain't come after him when he was messing up his home projects. They didn't deal with him then.
Self-destruction, right?
What's your price?
Yeah, he started messing with them folk money.
You start messing with the wrong people money, man.
So what about the dude?
This is a whole nother conversation. I'm about to say, so we gonna end it like we should have started it. We normally start with first call. We're gonna do it as a part of the last call right now. So we're gonna do 9 questions, however they come. I get one, Carolina get one, and we're gonna go in the row of J.C. Hess coach. So last call or first call, as we say, it's real quick. Ain't no right or wrong answer. It's probably some off the wall fucking question. We just need an answer, yay, nay, A, B, whatever the case. Right. So I'm gonna go first. Jay, sweet grits or savory grits?
Savory, man. We in the South, man. We got,
okay.
Hey,
I
man.
mean, I'm just saying.
That's my answer. I don't even about to explain it. That's it.
Carolina.
All right, coach. What's worse? A blue bull or a king cobra?
Damn.
Ooh.
Shit. King Cobra.
They both terrible choices. Yes. We got cinnamon toast crunch or Frosted Flakes?
Man, you would give me that, right? You know what? Listen, I eat both of them without cereal, without milk. You know what I'm saying? So, but I gotta go
I eat
with
most of my cereal without milk.
yeah. So you know what, man? I gotta go with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because you put them anything, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
All right, Jay Smith. I already know this answer. Cheez-Its, white cheddar Cheez-Its, or Tabasco sauce Cheez-Its?
Lucky Strip Club. Hot, spicy cheeses. Huh? Welcome. You know I come in the house late. Me and the dog drunk eating cheeses, what? Hot, spicy, man.
All right, Coach. Fuck it. Golden State, Boston.
I'm gonna go with the Celtics.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Celtics.
Man, you fucking with Unc.
He said that quick.
He said that because of Unc. No, he said.
Hey, when they grabbed game one, I said, hey, the Celtics go ride it.
But they let Steph sit too long, man. Why they let him sit so long, man?
Yeah.
They let that one get away, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, see here, pork chops or steaks?
Oh, I don't eat pork, so that's the easy answer. I'm taking.
Hold it. Let me all right. If you stop at a gas station, QT or Love?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the QT because the QT got them good ices, man. So
QT got good everything.
I'm going to QT.
I'd rather go to QT than McDonald's. Shit. Jay, the Batman or the Wolverine?
I like the Wolverine, man. Yeah, Batman, he had all the answers. I ain't like that. You can't have all the damn answers all the time, boy.
He got all the money, shit.
Yeah, he got an answer for everybody. I ain't like
that. Last question on Coach.
All right, Coach. Let me see. Oh, God, oh, favorite Kool-Aid.
Ooh. Let me get the red.
There you go. There it is.
That'll be the red.
That'll be red. Don't know what flavor it is. That shit red. It's good.
Just red.
Hey, you might explain that for the people who ain't in the South, man.
Just
red.
Sticky red.
That was first call, last call, aka first call. Look, I appreciate y'all, man. I had the opportunity to put up Coach's banner down at the bottom to let him get his information off as far as locally here in Columbia. Hess, go ahead and shout out to the people again. Let them know about the name of the organization, where they can find you, how they can contribute.
So, hey, this is Motivated Minds. Hey, you can find me on Facebook. It's Motivated Minds 03 on Instagram. Motivated Minds 03. You know, look for the logo that's on the hat, or they can hit me up at motivatedminds03@gmail.com. You know, hey, you can find us. You can find me in your local hood. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Jay.
Yeah.
Tell them about it, man. Let them know where they can find you, how they can help out.
Yeah, we Spark Initiative Inc. So we supporting parents and affirming resilience in the kids. We're a 501c3 nonprofit here in the Augusta area, CSRA. I got a website, sparklegeorgia.org. So just take a chance and look at it for those who are interested. Hey, just donate, man. We take all funding. We take it all.
I know that's right. Carolina, go ahead and give us a last call, man. Get us up out of here.
Last call is I say network. I always say network. Network is investing. Network is everything you do in life. Like we talked about the resumes earlier. If your resume ain't up to par, shake that hand and make that contact to network. You know, look into their eyes to network. Check on people to network. That networking is a superpower. I always said networking is a superpower, man. If you ain't got nothing else, you can network. Networking is how the world was ran, if you think about it, because there ain't nothing but the bartering system. And the best way to barter is to network. So
Right.
why you think the internet is called the network? You got a network, man. You got the network. That should be your superpower. If that ain't your superpower, you need to practice. It might not be your superpower, but that might be your strength. So
That's right.
Look,
that's all. That's
we
all I got to say.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate
Hey,
that
nice
last
meeting
call,
y'all,
man.
man. Nice meeting y'all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now, don't nobody go nowhere. We're gonna kind of lock this up in a minute. But look, I appreciate you, C Hess, Jay Smith, Coach Cuz. I mean,
He said, Coach
again,
Cuz. He said, Coach Cuz.
this is a platform that we don't get to see that often. You know what I'm saying? Would you say BMDW Black Men doing well?
Black men doing well.
Doing well enough to go out and help some other black men, man. Look, again,
Absolutely.
I can't say how much it really means to me to get y'all time on this, man, and get y'all expertise. We definitely gonna do it again. But this is the Bottom of the Bottle podcast. Y'all like, subscribe, all that other extra shit, and we go, man. We catch y'all next time.
Yeah, man.